If you're struggling to sell your art, you need to watch this video. The key to making a good living as an artist is to be able to create great work with a unique voice. And by great work, I mean work that stops people in their tracks and takes their breath away, where as soon as someone looks at it, they know that you did it. Once you can do this, making a living as an artist is easy. Until you can do this, it's always going to be a struggle. But how do you get there? Well, in a recent live Zoom call, I actually went through the process with one of my students. So if you're struggling to sell your art and you don't know what to do next, I really encourage you. Watch this video. This is going to give you some clear steps in a logical order that is going to move you along on that journey to where you can create great art with a unique voice.
Yeah, I like what you said with the 3 different modes. So not focusing so much on product mode, just process and practice. And then when would you find you would enter into that product mode?
So Frank Webb had a really good analogy, which is like we start out digging little holes all over the backyard looking for buried treasure. And then every once in a while, we got to pick one place and dig deep, right? Because I've also know people that they've spent their entire life in process mode and they've never ever picked anything, right? So I would say at the beginning of the process, you really want to maximize your drawing skill first. You want to look at dominoes. I actually have a course called Creating Your Plan for Success that's in my Unstoppable, but it's also in the Hungry Artist thing too, where I actually kind of lay out a flow chart of here are the various stages that pretty much every artist goes through, and it kind of move across it till you go, oh, I'm not very good at this. And then it's like, well, then the plan should be you need to master this before you move on to the next thing. But basically, I'll go through some of the first ones for you for all you here, because it's really important. And this is for someone whose end goal is ultimately to make some serious money from their art. For some people, they're just hobby painters. They're happy to go out, do their local art festival, and if they sell 2 or 3 paintings, they're happy. Then it's like you don't even need to worry about any of this. But if your goal is to get to the point where you're making, like, say, $20,000 or more from your art eventually, then the first thing you need to master actually is understanding the art world, which is to understand the fact that there are the different villages, that we're in the village of commercial sales, so that you don't get sidetracked or follow all of the stuff like meaning of the art, conceptual art, and you don't start trying to incorporate elements of the meat dress into your paintings you want people to buy and hang in their home, right? It's like, oh, here's an installation of a dirty teenager's bedroom, and it's like that might be in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, but nobody's going to buy that from you to put in their house. So that's the first one. The second one is mindset. Mindset's a hugie. I gave up on my dream of being an artist and joined the police force because I had a fixed mindset. I came to the realization that I just was not talented enough to become a successful artist. And I was actually 100% right if I had just added the word yet at the end of that sentence. I wasn't talented enough yet because I believed that talent was something you either had or didn't have, and I didn't have it. I didn't realize that no, talent is just the sum total of your skills, knowledge, experience, and creativity, and they can all be improved upon. Those 2 things are crucial to get before you even start thinking about, oh, I might want to be a professional artist. But then the next thing is drawing. Drawing is the ability to see the world, which our brain interprets as things that we recognize, and break them down into shapes, colors, values, edges, gradations, all of that kind of stuff. And then it's the ability to accurately create those marks on paper or canvas to represent it. And even if you end up doing totally abstract work, it's still the ability to make the mark that you want that's going to do the thing that you want on the paper or canvas. These are things that I call dominoes. Knock one over and it's going to have an impact on everything you do going forward. So initially, again, once you've got the mindset and understanding the art world, it's like drawing, and then it's mastering various techniques of painting, right? For example, you want to start in watercolor. Well, you have to learn about wet and wet. You have to learn about dry brush. You have to know about glazing. You have to know all of these about using a credit card to scrape off, using resist, all this stuff, learning the various techniques. And then it's composition, kind of like arranging them in a way that is pleasing to the eye and is going to engage the viewer. And then it's just spending a lot of time in there, trying different subject matter, trying different stylistic approaches. And the best way to do that is by using influences. Look for artists whose work you look at, you go, oh my God, I love that. I'd love to be able to paint that way. And then try doing stuff similar to theirs until you get a handle on how to do that, and then move on to another one, different artists. So you're just continually building that experience, that knowledge, that skill. And then what ends up happening is all the while you're doing this, right? You're gauging how much you love the process. So how much did you love going in the studio and doing that? How much do you love the finished work? And even at this stage, like have your work out so that people see it, so that you're kind of gauging like other people's reactions. And then you are continually kind of guided by like the things that you love doing the most. You want to kind of focus in on those. The things where you love the finished process the most, like yes, you're drawn towards that. And then the things that the public likes more than the other things you're doing. And so when you find things, it's like, wow, I really love this process and I really love the finished work. And this seems to be getting a better reaction than other things I've done. Well, that's a good signpost that says, okay, this might be something where you want to dig deep for a while. And then you dig deep until one of two things happens. Until the public goes, oh my God, we love this work. We can't get enough. And you can't keep up with the demand. And your prices just keep going up and up and up, which not likely to happen on the first thing you pick on. But it did happen to Emily Valentine, one of my students, that very first thing she focused on was still lifes. She sold out in her first 3 shows. She sold out at the Artist Project as one of those emerging artists who got a free booth, like just crazy. But if that doesn't happen, then you go, okay, this isn't it. And then you go back into process mode again, and you start digging little holes all over the backyard till something, you go, oh yeah, I want to dig here a bit. And you just continually do that process until you find that one thing that where the public goes crazy and you love it and you love the process. But if you've mastered, and the reason I say master drawing and master composition first in the technical skills, if you've mastered all 3 of those things, you are already probably head and shoulders above 95% of the artists that are out there putting their art out for sale at art festivals and stuff. So even when you're in process mode and it's not the thing, it's still likely going to be better than most of the other artwork that's out there, and you can still sell it. So for the time that I was in process mode, I still sold 90% of the pieces that I did. They were still good paintings. They just weren't the, oh my God, we love it, we have to have it. So, but if you're just spending time in process mode and you haven't mastered the skills and you haven't got a solid grounding in composition, you just might be producing a lot of very unique work that's bad, that shows lack of skill, lack of composition, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
I hope you found that helpful. That was part of a live group Zoom call that comes with every one of my online courses. Now, the one thing that's key that I didn't mention in this call, because the caller already knows this, is that when you're in process mode, that's when you're doing something for the first time. You're trying something new. It might be a new technique, a new stylistic approach, a new medium. That's process mode. The whole idea when you're in process mode is to learn. And the number one most important thing to understand is that when you go into process mode, the very first thing you do is give permission for the painting to fail. So that's key. When you're trying something you've never done before, there's a very good chance it won't work out. And if you have expectations that this is going to be a great painting, then you're going to be upset when it doesn't turn out. Have that happen a few times and you'll just scurry back to your comfort zone. So very important to understand, when you're in process mode, give the painting permission to fail before you even start. And why do we do that? Because sometimes in process mode, that's where breakthroughs happen. That's where something works out better than we've ever done before. Or even just from the worst painting you've ever created, you learn what not to do next time. Now, if you're serious about making a living from your art, if you have a passion for art, and by passion, I mean you not only love doing it, but you have an overwhelming, burning desire to master everything about it, and you're willing to do the work that's necessary to actually get there, then you're only limited by how hard you're willing to work at it. But you can really, really speed up the process by focusing on the right things at the right time and not wasting time spinning your wheels on things that aren't really going to move the needle. Now, I've spent the last 25 years building a successful career as an artist. I've also helped many artists launch their careers and go on to very successful careers. And I've put everything that I've learned into my new book, You Can Sell Your Art. And this is a step-by-step guide to create a livable income from your art. Now, we're about to launch the book, but you can get 5 free chapters of my book right now just by clicking on the link in the description. Click on there, enter your email, and we'll send you a PDF of 5 chapters. And these 5 chapters alone are going to give you a lot of information that's going to help you on that journey to achieving your dreams as a successful artist. And you'll also get in here links to all of my online courses. And with every one of my online courses, you get 1 live group Zoom call where you get to ask me questions. I'll offer you coaching advice, or I can critique your work. And if you're interested in an ongoing mentorship program where I actually can help you develop your art, find your voice, and actually help you with your career, then you might be interested in my Hungry Artist program. That comes with all of my courses, but it also comes with weekly live Zoom calls where I'll answer your questions, offer coaching advice, and critique your work. But at the very least, I really encourage you to click on the link below to get the 5 free chapters of my new book. I'm Tim Packer. I'll see you next week.